Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sports Talks Podcast. Today, I'm going to be telling you the one player that you should always have on your team when you leave a fantasy football draft in 2020. There's one player, no matter where you fall, you should always leave the draft with this guy on your team. And to explain my point, I'm going to look at the past 2 years. I'm going to look at how the best fantasy players have consistently performed in 2018 and 2019. Then I'm going to reveal the one guy that you want in 2020. In 2018, I'm going to look at the top 5 running backs going into the year. I want to look at something very quickly. There was a guy on the list, Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell going into 2018 was considered a top 5 running back by everyone. Back-to-back monstrous seasons for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Back-to-back monstrous workloads. The problem with Le'Veon is he was threatening a holdout. In the fantasy community, we all know what happened next. Le'Veon Bell never showed up in 2018. And James Conner finished the year as a running back 1. He took that job. He ran with it, quite literally. And some of us in the community, we won leagues with James Conner and not Le'Veon Bell leading our teams. James Conner going into that year was definitely being discussed, but he was not a priority. It was not a priority. Let's look at last year. Going into last year, 2019, similar situation is taking place in Los Angeles. Melvin Gordon, another running back 1, not on the same level as Le'Veon Bell, but definitely a running back 1 going into the season. Well, he holds out into the regular season. He shows up to work. Remember, Le'Veon Bell never came back. Melvin Gordon comes back. But by that point in time, Austin Ekeler, massive part of the offense, doesn't relinquish that role. He finishes the year as a running back 1 in PPR 10-team leagues. So much so that now that Melvin Gordon's gone, we are looking at Austin Ekeler as a running back 1 fringe, maybe high-end running back 2, going into this year. And that's another common thing. Rather than give Le'Veon Bell an extension, the Steelers rode with James Conner, got rid of Bell. Rather than give Melvin Gordon an extension, the Chargers rode with Ekeler. And Gordon left in free agency for Denver this year. Now in 2020, if you haven't figured it out by now, we have a very similar situation going on in Minnesota. Consensus top 5 running back, Dalvin Cook, finished last year's RB2 only to Christian McCaffrey's historic season. Dalvin Cook wants a new contract. He's threatening to hold out into the regular season. I don't know about you, but based off the past 2 years, I definitely want the guy who is standing to take his place. That guy's Alexander Mattison. Alexander Mattison filled in last year for Dalvin Cook. A couple of games. Mattison performed serviceably. Not amazing. But here's the thing. Alright? I'm going to come out with a video later to analyze 4 different mock drafts that I did. And one thing that I was testing, how long could you wait to make sure you got Alexander Mattison? 4 different mock drafts. I did not leave without Alexander Mattison because I'm not planning to leave any of my drafts this year without Alexander Mattison. And I've got great news for all of you. The earliest I had to draft him was the 12th round. I even got to wait to the 14th round in one draft. Keep in mind, these are 10-person leagues. All right? ESPN has broken it down now to where you have rookie, pro, and expert settings. All of them expert PPR mock drafts. Alexander Mattison, 14th round. Now, when I go into my draft, I'm not planning to wait because, again, I'm not leaving without him. And you shouldn't either. Think of how much your team will succeed if you get Alexander Mattison, even if you get Dalvin Cook holding out for 4 weeks. Look at what happened with Austin Ekeler. He was a part of the offense from then on. Think if you even get consistent flex production from a 12th to 14th round pick. Think of how good your team can be based on that. Think of how good your team can be if, like me, you traded Ekeler before Gordon even came back. I sold low. I should have gotten way more value than I did in the long run, but it still helped my team to the number 1 scoring output in my league last year. Sharing this with you, do not leave your drafts without Alexander Mattison. and make sure you give me a shout out when you win the championship. That'll do it for Sports Talk Podcast on this one. We'll see you on the next one.